Hi everyone, today we are going to learn a simple poem which it gives us great meaning and it shares with us great philosophy of life, that is the Wreck of Titanic. I hope you remember this name Titanic, and I believe and I trust that many of you have watched the movie Titanic. Really, this poem is also talking about that great ship which was a part of history and which created a great history in the history of human being. Okay, so this is from the fourth unit and chapter number 3. We have a second chapter there, about another ship, the Ranaganji, about Ranaganji, and we will be talking about that also in next day. Okay, look, who wrote the poem? Before we understand anything about a poem, it's better to understand about the poet, right? Benjamin Beckett, born in 1856 and 1927. Benjamin Beckett was an American poet. He was an American poet. His famous collection of poems includes Spoons of Silver, Spoons of Tin and other poems in 1921. So whenever you talk about Benjamin Beckett, always remember this name. Okay, 1921, his collection of poems. He has written a lot of short poems. The Wreck of Titanic is one of his famous poems. So, the Wreck of Titanic is famous one for whom? For Benjamin Beckett. Before going to the chapter again, here is a poem about one of the greatest tragedies at the sea. People who watched the movie, people who already know something about Titanic know that that was a tragedy. Really, with all the dream and even challenging all the persons, the inventor or the scientist of Titanic or that mechanic, they started a journey but they could not finish that. We will be explaining and we will talk about Titanic in near future. Okay, just wait. On April 14 of 1912, the Titanic, which carried 2,100 passengers and crew, like crew means the people who work in the ship of Titanic, they are known as crew. Not only in the Titanic, whatever ship may be, crew means helping members, that collided with an iceberg and sank into the depth of Atlantic Ocean. I know that almost every student in this classroom knows about Titanic and its tragedy. But still, if you don't know that, let me tell you, Titanic was a ship which went to the sea on April 14, which started its journey with 2,100 people and the crew of Titanic, that was collided with an iceberg and sank into the depth of Atlantic Ocean. However, this tragedy also exposed some of the greatest act of courage and heroism. So why we write this poem, to explain about the heroism and the courage of British people who were there in the ship, and especially the Captain Smith also. So we would like to glorify their activities in the poem. Okay, now read the poem. So we are going to read the poem, The Wreck of Titanic. This is the first stanza. I hope it's very clear here. Just read it. Okay. Stanza 1, Wreck of Titanic. Out of Southampton she swung with stream. I hope you understand the word swung with stream. A poem of iron and steel, a sea dream, and thousands on shore watched her steaming away, the largest and the grandest of all ships that day. Look at the way, steam, dream, away, day. I hope you understand the rhythm and the rhyme. Okay. I hope you understand the rhyming words. Okay, stream, stream, dream, away and day. Look, Southampton is a place, name of place. Out of Southampton means from Southampton, from that place. She here means Titanic. Throughout the poem, the poet Benjamin Beckett always would like to use Titanic, the beautiful comparison of a lady or a woman. That's why he uses the word she with the Titanic. So out of Southampton, from that place, she, Titanic, swung means singing, and swinging means what? Swing, sung, just going left and right. With a stream, stream always stayed, you know, stream which comes from the sea, okay, stream which comes, the waves which comes from the sea, as it's known as stream. So Titanic, she was swinging with the stream. I hope you understand, it is going like this. Okay, in a stream, if you see a ship, it's going on, like you can see, it's swinging, it's going left and right. So out of Southampton, from that place, Titanic swung with stream. And a poem of iron and steel. Look at that usage. A poem of iron and steel means Titanic was built by what? Iron and steel. That was two materials, but here the poet used it as a metaphor. The Titanic is looking like a poem. What is the speciality of a poem? We can explain that poem as we want, right? Like that, the Titanic was also a poem. So here you can watch two poetic devices. Before that, let me see, a sea dream. Titanic is a sea dream. Like you can see a dream in the sea. Okay. Dream is also in a poetic sense. Like dream, poem, that all like poem and romantic, right? Really feeling romantic when you think about dream. Wow, when you think about poems. Titanic was such a beautiful lady swinging in the stream of Atlantic. Okay, here you can see the poet used the word she here. Usually we use the word she for what? For human being, right? Human being. I think you understand the poetic device here. That is personification. From all the poem we already told it. Personification means we are treating a non-living object as a living object. Look, the word she, Titanic is, it has no life, it is not a human being, but still we call her she, like we are calling a human. That is known as personification. Another poetic device is metaphor. Metaphor and simile is comparison. Means the Titanic is compared to a poem of iron and steel, a sea dream. Like Titanic is a sea dream. That is like he is a lion or tiger. Like if we feel a courageous boy, we tell he is a lion. Like that, Titanic is a sea dream, or Titanic is a poem of iron and steel. That is known as metaphor, because we compare Titanic to the poem. Okay, so from the two lines it's very clear. And look at, and thousands on shore. When Titanic was starting, thousands of people were standing on the shore. They were standing on the coast to watch Titanic moving on. On shore, watched her streaming away. So 1,000 people watched Titanic streaming away, and they were standing on the shore. And Titanic watched her streaming away. That was the largest and the grandest of all ships that day. Comparing that day, Titanic was the largest and the grandest. What is the difference between large and grand? Anything can be large. For example, comparing to a small board of a computer, this board is large. But I can say that this is grand also. Grand means I can use all these techniques here. If I want to erase, if I want to add color, everything is here. That's why it's a grand also. Same time, if I have a blackboard here, comparatively comparing to a computer board, that blackboard is big, large, but that is not grand. I hope you understand the difference between largest and the grandest. Okay, means it was biggest one, same time with almost every facilities and almost every luxuries. I hope you got the first stanza. Let's go through the first stanza again. From Southampton, out of Southampton we told, that meaning from Southampton the Titanic started her voyage. Voyage, the word voyage we always use for the traveling in sea or in water. That's voyage. She was a poem of iron and steel. That's metaphor. She was a sea dream. That's also a metaphor. Okay. Thousands of people standing on the shore watched her steaming away. She was the largest and the grandest of all ships made until then. See, she was, the word she was is a personification. That's clear. The first stanza is clear. Let's move to the second stanza of the poem. Let's read the second stanza. And the 1,000 on board did security feel, for no eye saw death as he stood at the wheel, directing her course to the echoless shore, her first and last haven of nevermore. Look at the word. And thousands on board means people, 2,000 people are there, they were traveling, right? All those people on the board means in the ship. People or the passengers in the ship, they all felt security, means they all did feel, means felt. This is past, okay? So look at the word here. 1,000 people felt security, or 1,000 on the board did feel security. Okay, did security feel means they did feel security. I hope you understand the rhyming words again: feel, will, shore, nevermore, more. Okay, that's very clear. So that's why he made this word to here. In almost every poems you can see such words, especially when they want to adjust with a rhyming scheme and rhyming words. What they will do? I hope they will do like this, simply changing the order. Okay, here the real order: thousands on board felt security or did feel security, but he's told did security feel. Okay, all of them, in the meaning, all of them felt security whenever they were traveling. They felt security, right? But because, this for in the sense of because. Okay, for no eye saw death. No any eye from the 1,000 people and crew they were traveling on the ship never felt what? A sense of death. They never felt it. They never see that. As he stood at the wheel. Who is he? He is a Captain Smith. Okay. Captain Smith stood on the wheel. He was working with the wheel of ship. That's why nobody felt any insecurity. Nobody could see the death in the sea. Okay. And what he was doing, he stood directing her course to the echoless shore. He was going to an echoless shore, another shore. He was going, echoless means without echo, but that was Titanic's first and last haven, means spot, okay, of nevermore. And that port will not be again. That is death, what we call death. And we all people expect a day. We all people expect a haven of our own for the nevermore. We will not be going back again to that place. We will not come back. We won't come back from that place again, and we will not visit that place again. Only one time. That's a graveyard. That's a burial place. Okay. So like that, this was a haven of nevermore for everyone in that ship. Okay, so let's go. There were thousands on the board. They felt very secure. Nobody thought of any danger as the captain stood at the wheel. He was directing the course of ship. This would be the ship's first and last trip, as she will never reach a port again. It will never come to a haven again. Coming to the third stanza of the poem, look. She was the last best work of men, and on the first voyage was speeding when out of the darkness, out of the night, loomed an ominous form of ghostly white. Look at the word men, when, night, white. Okay, Titanic was the last, the best work of men. Comparing at that time, Titanic was made with all the facilities, all the luxuries, and there was maximum security they felt. And on her first voyage, and Titanic was going for its first travel when out of the darkness, it was going at that time out of the darkness. It was dark there. Out of the night, it was night also. Nobody could see anything out of the darkness, out of the night. Loom, it means appeared or brightened, came into face, came into eye, loomed. What an ominous means so big or something strange, of ghostly white. That is known as that iceberg. Here we talk about that iceberg. Okay, because it was ghostly white, ominous, something very strange, very large, and it was like a ghostly white. So a white thing appeared in the darkness when this was going. Titanic was going. She was the best ship man had made. She was speeding on her first voyage when suddenly, out of darkness in the night, a ghost white form appeared. A white form appeared. Then what happened, you know? In the fourth stanza you can see later what happened. That was a towering mountain of ice, gigantic, as ever was seen on the North Atlantic. She struck with a shiver from stem to stern and was rapidly sinking, all soon did learn. So that iceberg, that ghostly white, what was that? That was a towering means high mountain of ice. It was a high mountain of ice, and it was gigantic, means so big, the biggest or the largest, gigantic one, and as ever was seen on the North of Atlantic. So in the North Atlantic, we all prepared for small icebergs, and we can go through, but this was, and you already know the speciality of iceberg. Only 1/3 of iceberg will be out of the sea. All other 3 parts or the 2 parts will be under the sea. Okay, so if you go through this and if you hit it, what will happen? It's not affecting this part only, and the ship's part, the bottom part of ship also will hit the bottom part of iceberg. That's specialty of iceberg. Okay, it was gigantic, and in compared to North Atlantic, that was the biggest one. And she struck. Who struck? Titanic struck with iceberg with a shiver from stem to stern, from bottom to end. Okay, from one end to another end, that on all the part of ship that was shivering with that struck, and was rapidly sinking. It was sinking very soon, sinking into the sea. All soon did learn means all people understood very soon that Titanic was rapidly sinking by striking to that iceberg. That struck to the iceberg, it was sinking very soon. That was it. Okay, and in the fourth stanza, again we are just going to explain. It was a huge mountain of ice. Such a huge iceberg was never seen on the North Atlantic. It hit the ship, sending a shiver throughout the entire part or the length and the entire length of ship. It soon began to sink and people knew it was sinking. So people knew means they learned it was sinking. The real meaning is knew it was sinking. So all knew the Titanic was sinking. So moving to the next stanza number 5. Then Captain Smith, I told everybody felt secure because he was on the wheel and he was Smith. This is that man of he was on the wheel, Captain Smith. Okay. Her commander, he was a commander, he was brave, thought not one moment his own life to save, but stood on the bridge calling out to the crew, remember your country, be British, be true. These are the lines which give you a real motivation when you think about the poem Wreck of Titanic. Remember your country, be British, be true. Look at the rhyming words: brave, safe, crew, true. Look, even the the Benjamin Beckett's poem, even if he talks about a complicated theme or a simple theme, but he maintains the rhyming words and it gives the poem really a enjoyment when we read that. Look, brave, safe, crew, true. Look, the Captain Smith, her commander, he was a brave person. It was sinking after striking with the iceberg of Atlantic. It was the Titanic was sinking at that time. His commander brave. He thought not, means he did not thought one moment what he didn't thought his own life to save, means he did not think about saving his own life. Look at the order. There is a change in the order of sentence. Really we have to use Captain Smith did not think about saving his own life one moment. He was a brave commander. He was thinking of others, how to save others. He never thought of himself. But instead he stood in a place and he was calling out to the crew, his helping members, his fellow members, his fellow workers. He was telling, remember your country, be British and be true. Means you are a person from Britain, from UK, United Kingdom, so never cheat your country. You are brave people who are known for sacrifices. You should sacrifice yourself for the well-being of others. That was a comment from the commander, the captain of Titanic, Smith. And all captains, all leaders should, all political, religious, social, any leaders it may be, they always should think like that. They should always think about their crews, their subjects, never think about themselves. He is a great leader, a person who think about his subjects, not about himself. That's why Smith is still highlighted even after years of the sinking or the collision or the destroying of Titanic. We people still remember him for one reason. What is that? Because he sacrificed himself. And be British, be true. This point is clear. Be British, be true. And look at the stanza 5 again. Captain Smith was the commander of the ship. He was brave. Not even for one moment he thought of saving his own life. He stood on the bridge and told his crew that they were British and they should remember their country and should do their duty. Okay, we all people have to do our duty. Then we will be respected in front of others. And coming to the stanza number 6. Look, read it. And he was talking, the captain was talking one thing, be British, be true. And here the poet Benjamin Beckett says, and England and Ireland. So always remember, British people, England, Ireland, all these places or countries, these were part of United Kingdom. Okay, and Scotland and Wales proved there to the world. All these people proved to the world their valor never fails. Means their valor means their courage. So all people from different parts of England, they already proved that their courage will never fail. They will never fail. Whatever comes to them, they will defend. All these people, all this part that are part of United Kingdom, all of them proved that they will never fail. They will always keep their valor, their courage. They are brave enough. They already proved that. So that's why Captain told the women and children first. First of all, we have to support the women and children. Look at the way the captain act. First of all, who needs support? We should support those people. Who needs support? Backward people need support, then we should support them. Okay, like that, look, the women and children, we should save them first. Captain told the women and children first. That was his cry. That was their cry. Means the people's cry, all crew and captain, all of them told women and children first. And every one of the crew stood by. Everyone, after listening to the command of Smith and commander, every crew, every of his fellow members, they stood by. Means they become ready to save others. Okay. Look, England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales proved to the world that their courage never fails. They said that the women and children should go in the lifeboats. So, because you already know that there are lifeboats, first of all, we should save those people, those poor people, okay, because there are limited there were limited number of lifeboats with Titanic. So we should save women and children first in the lifeboats. All the crew stood by and watched. All others, they were stood by and watching the women and children passing by, or they were streaming away. They were going to get the shore to save their own life. And Titanic is sinking and it's collided, break into two maybe. Like as we could see in the film, okay, and everybody was waiting for all these women and children. They were living for the next shore. And coming to the stanza number 7, and the boats were lowered for the women and children. Boats were lowered and sent away. Small boats, they were lowered from the top to the sea, and that cut off all hope. When all these boats were going, cut off all hope save eternity. Means to save, cutting off all the hope. We lost every of our hope to save our eternity. Means end. Eternity means end. So we have no other way to escape. When all boats were going, it was like cutting off our hope for eternity. For the end, we cannot hope for more. Look at the way sent away, eternity. It's entered with Y, but it's not a rhyming word. Okay, and the Titanic sank from the sight. We can see sank from the sight is really a point. We can see it sinking. Sank from the sight, near the sea. Titanic was near the sea. It's called near the sea. While her band played. Band means there was a band team. You already know the band celebration and drum. They were just piping the song, and they were doing many other musical instruments. They were banding there. There was a team of band in the Titanic. Even Titanic was sinking. These people were doing their duty until the death. And look at the way Benjamin Peckett says and explains this part. Look. The Titanic was sinking from the sight near the sea, and the band was playing nearer my God to thee. Because they are playing to the God. Every people are panic, and this band people have nothing to do there except playing. So through this line, Benjamin Peckett would like to give us a great message. Even we are going to die, we should do our duty. We should do our duty. Here the duty of band, what was their duty? To play the band. They were playing that to Almighty, because nobody is there to listen. Only Almighty God, he will listen after the death and he will ask, did you accomplish the work which I have given you, the mission which I had given you, have you accomplished that? Then you have answered, yes, I was doing, my duty was to obey my captain and I was playing the band. Like that, you have to play your band of life. What is your duty? Play that until your death. Okay. And that's why we could see many philosophers doing this, talking the same thing. Even Prophet Muhammad once told, if the last day of this world, end of this world comes, you have a plant with you, then you should plant it. If you have a seed with you or a small plant, you should plant it. And after that, we never expect its fruits, we never expect its shadow, but you should do that. Like that, many philosophers says, like that, here Benjamin Beckett glorify the work of Titanic crews. They were playing to nearer, oh God, nearer to you, near the side, near the seas. Titanic was singing, and the band team, they were playing for you, Almighty God. You already know the word you. Okay. The lifeboats were lowered and the women and children were sent away to safety. The crew had no hope of saving themselves. The Titanic sank from sight as the band played Nearer My God to You. Okay. And coming to the stanza number 8. Was there ever a scene so awfully grand as that sinking ship with her playing band? All glory to Smith and the Titanic's men. They bring Trafalgar's heroes to memory again. I will explain about this. This is about a war, okay, with another country of British. There was heroes, they were fighting, and they came with the memory. And in the coming stanza also, Benjamin Beckett comes with different memories of when the crew of Titanic was doing all this great job. They were bringing to the memory other great people they passed in the history. Okay, here look. Could you, awfully means really great. Have you seen any other greater scene than this? When it was sinking, the band was playing, grand band, men again. Okay, and why it happened? All the glory, all the credit goes to Smith, the captain, and they bring this Titanic crew bring Trafalgar's heroes memory again. And you can see other people also. Look, stanza number 8. Was there ever a scene grander, okay, grander than this? The ship was sinking, but the band was playing. All credit goes to Smith and the men of Titanic. Once again, they bring to the memory the heroes of Trafalgar's. Why Trafalgar? There, the Royal Navy of England fought against combined fleets, means small boats of war. Okay. French and Spanish navies. French and Spanish navies came together to fight against England. So there was that war was known as Trafalgar. So that same memory came. And another memory also coming. You came with other memory also. Look. And that heart-thrilling tale of Alamo, and the last grand charge at Waterloo, and that charge of the Light Brigade as well, and Jim Bluedaw's act on the Perari Belle. So in the Perari Belly, in the Perari Belly, the Light Brigade, Waterloo, Alamo, in all four of this war and other incidents, we are explaining that there all you could see many great people. So the poet Benjamin Beckett compares the activity of the Titanic's crew with the activity of all these great people. Thrilling heart tale. Tale means story of Alamo. The last grand charge attacking of Waterloo War, and that charge of the Light Brigade as well as the Jim Bluedaw's act on in our the Ferrari belly. So you can understand what all that says. It also brings to memory the thrilling story of Alamo. What is Alamo? The Texians, a part of England, defeated the Mexican army, ending the revolution of Alamo. Okay. It also reminds us of the charge of the light bridge. What do you mean by light bridge? Light bridge. The English forces are fighting against the Russian in 1854. And also Jim Pluto's courageous act. He was an engineer who died while saving the lives of passengers on a boat named Ferrari Bell. So in the Ferrari Bell, it's also a boat. From that, Jim Pluto saved people, many people. Okay, and he died while he was saving others' life. So here you can also see Smith. He was also saving other people. Okay, in the Mississippi River. So here in these 4 lines, you can see 4 things: Alamo, Waterloo, and the Light Brigade. Okay, and the Ferrari Bell. All this are other historic incidents. Benjamin Peckett would like to tell us and compare all this with the good work of Titanic people. And coming to the 10th stanza, and with this down the corridor of all time, the Titanic story shall sound sublime, for never was courage more noble and true than was shown on the night by the Titanic's crew. So with with all these activities, within all this time, you can see in the corridor of all time, means at all time, at the corridor of all time in the history, the people, Titanic's peoples on crews work will sound sublime. Sound sublime means we can hear as a pure thing, with a purity, with a glory. You can listen to the historic moments of Titanic's crew with your sublime, means pure and purified memories. You can see sound sublime, you can hear and you can echo the words of Titanic's crew as a sublime one, pure one, purified one. And because these 4 also stand for because. Okay, never was courage more noble and true. Before this, there was no any noble and true courage than shown in the Titanic. Okay, than shown on the night by the Titanic's crew. So the Titanic's crew showed noble and true courage. There was no other noble and true courage up to that time. Okay, and along with all these stories of bravery and courage, okay, the story of the crew of Titanic will remembered forever. They had showed such courage and nobility during that great tragedy. That was the end of the poem. And look at the words which you have to. Valor means courage, awfully, wonderfully, grand, great. I hope you understood the poem very well. It was really explaining about the hard work and the sacrificing mentality of Titanic's crew. I hope you enjoyed the poem very well. Go through the works and we will notify what works we have to do from the chapter, and try to read the notes very well, especially the appreciation of the poem. And this is really a great poem. Understand the poetic elements from that, and I hope we can meet at the live class. And if you have any doubt, ask me so. Thank you so much for listening to my words.